What's going on, guys? My name is Savage. Today I'm back with another batch of Reddit stories, and as you can see in the thumbnail, yes, somebody's sister is absolutely wilding. So if you want to see this story, then just wait 10 seconds because I'm about to get straight into it. I'm not going to waste any time like other YouTubers would. I'm just going to be playing this mid Minecraft gameplay in the background, and I'm going to literally just hop straight into this first story. So here we go. All right, this is the title. Should I tell my girlfriend that her sister tried seducing me? Hey Reddit, my name is Evan. I'm a 17-year-old guy who needs advice about a situation that could end my relationship. I've been dating my girlfriend since sophomore year and our relationship is really solid. She trusts me completely and we've never had any issues. Recently, her family invited me on a trip to Big Bear. It was her parents, her two younger brothers, and her older sister. We all get along well and they've always treated me like part of the family. There's just this one thing that made me feel a little uncomfortable. Over time, I started noticing her older sister looking at me in ways that didn't feel totally normal. At dinner, by the pool, during family movie nights, she never crossed the line, so I convinced myself that I was overthinking it. A friend told me it was probably nothing and it's all in my head. She's 19, so it's not like the normal younger sibling having a small crush on their sibling's partner. This was different and it had room for concern. Fast forward to the trip, we arrived at the cabin and we were all getting ready to ski. Her parents and brothers were set to go, and so were me and my girlfriend. Her sister said she was going to stay back since she was the only one in the family who didn't like skiing and was basically forced to go on the 2-day trip. It was going to be my first time skiing and everyone was excited. My girlfriend had been waiting to go with me for a while. I was hesitant at first since it was new to me and I get anxious about stuff like that, but she convinced me. She was going to go on the trip regardless of whether I came or not, so I finally gave in. We made our way up the small mountain and they showed me how to put on my equipment and walked me through everything. It actually went really smooth until the very end where I somehow managed to twist my ankle and sprain it pretty badly. Thankfully, we were already done for the day and went back to the cabin. The following day, I woke up feeling even worse and could barely stand. My girlfriend got really sad, but I reminded her how good of a day we had and how my first session went well. It was just the ending that sucked. She offered to stay with me, but I convinced her to go since they don't get many chances to ski and it would probably be the last time until the next season. She agreed and went with the rest of her family. That left me alone at the cabin with her sister, the one who didn't like skiing. At first, everything was normal. She was nice about it, offered to get me snacks and bring things over so I wouldn't have to get up. Nothing fell off at all. We were watching a show and a few episodes in, things started to feel different. She gave me the same look I had noticed before. I could feel it immediately and I didn't welcome it. This time, instead of looking away, I looked back. I wanted to be sure I wasn't misreading things. We locked eyes and she didn't look away. She smiled slightly, then glanced down for a second before looking back at me. That's when my stomach dropped. I knew I wasn't imagining it anymore. She said something quietly, but I couldn't hear her. I asked her what she said and she repeated it, but I was so anxious that I couldn't fully process it. Stupidly, I nodded because I didn't know what else to do. She moved closer than normal, close enough that the tension in the room completely changed. That's when it hit me. This wasn't in my head anymore. I immediately stood up and told her to stop. I asked her what she was doing, and she looked at me confused, saying, "I thought you wanted this." I told her no and that I couldn't even believe that she would think that. I questioned her about her sister. She got defensive and said that I had been giving her signals the whole time, even saying I agreed to it. I never agreed to anything. I told her this was wrong. She got angry and called me an idiot. I grabbed my things and wobbled out of the cabin, my heart racing and my face completely red. My girlfriend and her family came back just minutes later. Her sister acted like nothing had happened and so did I. It's now been 2 days since the trip and I'm stuck with this question. Do I tell my girlfriend and risk her not believing me, possibly taking her sister's side? It would end my relationship and it wouldn't even be my fault. There's also the alternative. I tell her she does believe me, but it causes a massive rift in her family that might never heal. Either way, I feel like I lose. There's no win-win here, but staying quiet also just doesn't feel right. What should I do? Alright, so that's a lot to take in. I completely agree with you. This could go bad either way. One, you tell her and she doesn't believe you, takes your sister's side, and then you're the bad guy even though you didn't do anything, or she does believe you and yeah, it just makes the whole family situation messy. But I do agree with you in the sense that staying quiet is probably not the right move either. So to be completely honest with you, none of this is your fault. this is all her sister's wrongdoing. If the family is, you know, put in a weird situation and is in shambles, it was probably going to happen either way. If her sister's that type of person, it probably would have happened later down the line. But I mean, it's happening now, so I think it's just better that you tell your girlfriend what happens, and if she chooses to believe you, good. Just you guys will have to have awkward family meetings, but maybe it could get fixed. I don't know. Sorry, I don't have too much good advice, but yeah, definitely do not stay quiet. I think you gotta tell her. Anyways, I'm gonna move on to the next story, which is pretty controversial. I feel like the comment section can be either way on this, but here it goes. My date screamed at me for not tipping. So I finally asked this girl out from my class that I've liked since the beginning of the semester. I slowly started talking to her more and got into her friend group and eventually got the courage to ask her out. She said yes, and she even told me she always thought I was cute too. So I was feeling good. We decided to grab wings at this spot near a gallery. I picked her up, the vibes were solid, conversation was easy, and everything was going well. Then we got to the restaurant. We sat down and no one came. I'm not exaggerating, 30 minutes went by before anyone even acknowledged us. Finally, someone came over and took our drinks. Cool. 15 minutes later, the drinks showed up and they were wrong. Okay, annoying, but whatever, they fixed it. We ordered food. 45 minutes later, it came out. And it was wrong again. And cold. At that point, I was clearly irritated. I politely told the waitress we had been waiting forever and that everything had been wrong. She gave me attitude and said they were busy and we weren't the only ones waiting. That set me off immediately, but I kept it together. Even my date looked annoyed and she was usually super upbeat. Eventually, the correct food came out, still barely warm. I asked for the check and they disappeared again. I ended up finding the manager and complaining. A third waiter brought the check. I just wanted to leave at that point. I paid for everything, then the tip screen popped up. After all that, I put 0. That's when she looked at me and said, "Wait, you're not tipping?" I told her, for what, that the service was terrible. She told me that I should always tip no matter what the case is. I told her that I usually did, but not after that experience. She told me that I was cheap, which caught me off guard. I told her that she had complained to me and had gotten impatient as well. I wasn't the only one. I also reminded her the little details that set us off, like not even giving us straws or forks. She ignored everything I said and said that I was being ridiculous and incredibly rude. I told her that if she felt that strongly, she could leave a tip. She didn't. Instead, she reprimanded me about being a gentleman and called me cheap once again. I told her that calling me cheap while letting me pay for the entire dinner was unreasonable. The fact that she felt so strongly about tipping and couldn't even bother to chip in for that small part, so I told her she was the cheap one, not me. She stood up and said, "Go F yourself, you complete bum," in the restaurant. That was it for me. I cut ties and switched classes. Now some of my friends say that they are on my side, but that they see her point, which I genuinely don't understand. I usually tip, I'm not anti-tip, but after waiting over an hour for wrong cold food and attitude, was I really that wrong? So I actually sort of agree with you, and I don't know if that's a bad thing, but I mean, you had terrible service, and on top of the like 0-star service, you had a waitress with a bad attitude. Now, I've never personally worked as a waitress, but like from friends' experiences, they've never treated anyone bad, and even if they're the rudest customer ever, they still wouldn't. So the fact that you were being so patient and she was still giving you attitude after everything that went down, yeah, I don't blame you at all. And it just didn't seem like they weren't acknowledging you guys at all. So the fact that this girl went off on you despite seeing all that, I think she was out of line for that. I mean, I maybe probably would have just left some pity change, but I guess 0 tip, some people can see it as super crazy. I don't know. I feel like it's justified in that, but I guess like some people they just don't care. So I don't know. I'm on your side. I completely understand you, and I think the girl was I mean, I think she should have tipped as well if she felt that strong about it, but I could be wrong. Please don't roast me in the comment, you guys. I'm not cheap either. I just feel like this is situational and it was justified. Tell me what you guys think. Maybe you hate me now. I hope you don't. Please keep watching the video. Maybe the girls in the comment section, do you guys think that this guy is completely wrong, or do you actually agree with him and disagree with the girl? Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, I'm just gonna get into the next video because I don't want to cancel my YouTube channel after like the third video. So let's move on. My bad. Let's get into the next story. All right, and this next story I think is actually the most interesting one out of all of these stories. And I was debating whether putting this one as a clickbait title, but I was like, nah, I'm just gonna keep it towards the end for those who watched it all the way through. So here's the title. So here's my bad date story from 6 years ago that was removed because it was believed to be untrue. I wish it was. Here's the original post. Oh boy, well, this is the worst thing ever. Thought I'd never make my life without a nightmare poop story like this, but here it goes. So I matched with the girl on Tinder yesterday afternoon, and that evening I picked her up and we were out together. She was from out of town, staying at an Airbnb, and it was going well. Later on, we headed back to her rental. On the way back to her house, I felt my stomach shift in that way, and I knew something terrible was going to happen. Not wanting to announce how my ass was about to explode or to devastate the bathroom at her place, I stopped at the gas station under the species of having to pee, but the restroom was out of order. Of course, this is the only toilet on the way to her Airbnb, so I'll accept that I will just have to poop at her place. At this point, it's getting really bad. I'm barely clenching in at this point, and we get back to her rental. It's a garage converted into a studio cabin behind another main house. I park in the driveway, and we make the short walk back to her cabin, and she's taking her time and finishing smoking. Then it takes her ages to figure out which key is for the door and can't get it unlocked. She must have been seeing me sweat and squirm, because the entire time I'm basically thinking, I'm gonna 100% poop my pants if I slip up even in the slightest way for even a moment. But if she does notice, she'll surely say nothing about it. She finally gets the door open and I start to walk towards it. She says, "Oh my God, I have to pee so bad now too. You go pee outside." I just nod and say sure, still maintaining this front of having to just pee. For God knows what reason, at this point, I should have just admitted what was going on, but I didn't. So the moment the door is shut, I start sprinting around the front of the house, thinking I'm going to get in my car and drive somewhere, maybe home, I have no idea. I just needed to find the toilet immediately. I made it about 6 steps around the front side of the house before I knew the 7th step would be the last. And I dropped my pants and proceeded to poop right there on the walkway in front of the house. It's nearly pitch black outside and a fairly rural area, so I'm in no danger of being seen, but the poop, it's gruesome, unlike any other shit I've ever taken before. Just a weird gummy black sludge which explodes out of me over the course of a minute and basically leaves my butt dry, heaving and gasping for air or something. The smell is unbearable. Hold on, I need to compose myself. All right. I pull up my pants up to my knees and waddle over to my car, where I pull out some old t-shirts I had in the trunk and clean myself up. I threw the t-shirts into the bushes as I used them. Miraculously, I had somehow managed to not get any poop on the pants or boots that I had on. So after another minute or so, I was good as new. Right then, not 3 minutes after having gone inside and oblivious to what just had transpired outside, my date came around the side of the house to check on me, and I hollered out, warning to be careful where she stepped, and I tell her to get this. I was coming outside here to pee, and I stepped in something terrible, real terrible, right outside the front of the house. I took a minute to clean up my boots, and she thanked me for warning me, and I went over around the house, and 5 minutes later, we were either banging or well on our way. This might sound more like an amazing success story, but that's not the end. I wake up in her bed around 3 a.m., actually having to pee, and being half asleep enough to where I haven't even remembered/thought about what just happened a few hours ago, I stumbled to the bathroom and started peeing. And standing there in a relaxed state of had to piss relief, that's when I pooped my underwear. That's when I realized I had pooped my underwear slightly. And that's when I remembered, oh yeah, my stomach is messed up right now. So I flip around and sit down on the toilet, and another nightmare explosion goes down. Of course, she's out of the toilet paper, and I can't find any more in the bathroom. So I clean myself up using my already ruined underwear, which I then put in a plastic shopping bag I found under the sink and tied up the ends. Bro, this is ridiculous, man. When I emerge, I throw my clothes back on and wake her up gently and tell her I'm gonna take off and kiss her goodbye. I grab my underwear and take off. On the way out to the car, I have a thought, and I look at the main house. Sure enough, I see dim IR lights of a security camera pointed directly where I had exercised my bowels. So I wonder if that's gonna come back to haunt me. I get back to the safety of my own toilet with no further incident, and I'm happy to report my stomach is now recovered, 15 hours later. But I didn't realize exactly how much I had messed up until an hour ago. So we've been texting since the morning when she woke up, vacated her Airbnb, and headed back out of town. She lives 2 hours away. And when she woke up this morning and let her little dog outside to pee, the dog went and found the pile/puddle of demon poop I had left, and the dog proceeded to roll in it, making sure to get it all caked up in behind his ears and such, before pulling out one of my used t-shirts out of the bushes and bringing it back as her trophy. She told me she cleaned them up as best as she could there, but was nearly puking the entire ride home with the dog in the car. And she spent the entirety of the afternoon since she got home bathing and rebathing and scrubbing her poor dog. What was that stuff? She asked me. Like some kind of sewer discharge or liquefied deathing or something? I have no idea, I told her. And there's sort of an update, but not really. This story was from 6 years ago, but here's what he also said. I originally posted this with the throwaway, and it got a lot of awards, and people seemed to get a kick out of it, but alas, it was removed. Enough time has passed that I don't care anymore, so it's now 6 years later, and I've survived, and my stomach is fine. Ended up seeing the girl maybe 4 or 5 more times over the next 6 months, but we fell out of touch, and she never found out/I never told her. Nothing ever came of the camera. I swear on my honor as a Cub Scout that every detail of this story is 100% true and not at all embellished. And if you truly find it that unbelievable, then you should probably get rid of Reddit stories and go have some life experiences. Oh, get off of Reddit. Yeah, I honestly, bro, I believe you. Some crazy things happen in life, and that does seem crazy, but I don't know. I feel like that was genuine. There's not really any advice to give on this, just that, I don't know. I guess you could be honest with your date, but he may have not gotten the play he wanted if he did, so I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that last story as much as I did. And that's pretty much all I have. So I'm just going to post more stories in the future. I don't know. I usually post every week, so stay tuned for that. Like, subscribe, comment. It helps my algorithm, helps me get better. And yeah, if you have any advice on how to improve my videos, let me know, because I'm a noob. So yeah. All right, guys, it's been Savage, and I'm out. Peace.